"Dad, I need you to pack your bags," Brian said, not even looking up from his phone. "You need to move out. Today." 20 minutes later, I was standing in my own living room watching two police officers decide whether to drag me out of the house I'd lived in for 31 years. I'm Edward Marsh, 74, a retired high school teacher from Phoenix, Arizona, and what my son did to me that Father's Day was only the beginning of something much darker. If you're new here, stick around, because you will not see where this one ends up. Hit like and subscribe for more. It was 11 in the morning. Brian and his wife, Jenna, had come over for what I thought was a Father's Day lunch. Instead, Brian dropped a manila folder on my kitchen table and told me the house wasn't mine anymore. "What are you talking about? I've lived here since before you were born." "Not according to this." He slid the folder toward me. A deed, dated 4 months earlier, transferring the house into his name. My signature sat right there on the bottom line. "I never signed that." "Dad, don't do this," Brian said, his voice going tight. "You signed a stack of papers back in February. You said you wanted to get your affairs in order." I remembered signing something. Brian had told me it was routine, something about making sure the house passed to him smoothly one day. I trusted him. Why would I have read every line? "You need to be out by the end of the week," he said. "Jenna and I are moving in." "Brian, this is my home. It's my home now. And if you won't leave, I'll call the police." I laughed. I actually laughed, because it sounded insane coming out of his mouth. Then I saw his face. He wasn't joking. The police showed up faster than I expected. 2 officers stood in my living room, while Brian calmly explained that his elderly father was refusing to vacate a property that legally belonged to him. One of the officers looked at the deed, looked at me, and said gently that if the document was real, I might need to leave voluntarily while a judge sorted it out. 31 years. And I was standing in my own kitchen being told I might have to walk out the door because of a signature I didn't remember and a son who wouldn't meet my eyes. I didn't leave. The officers backed off once I said I was disputing the deed, but Brian's calm, cold certainty stuck with me all night. I couldn't sleep. So at 6 the next morning, I called Diane, my late wife's oldest friend, a retired paralegal who still knew half the lawyers in the county. She came straight over. I watched her face go white as I talked, and by the time I finished, she was already dialing someone else. "Edward, if that deed's forged, this isn't a family fight anymore. This is a crime." Within 2 days, her attorney friend, Sam, confirmed it. The notary on my signature had retired 1.5 years before that deed was ever dated. Forged, plain and simple. I should have felt relief. I didn't, because Sam had that look on his face people get right before they tell you something worse. "Edward, there's more, and I need you to sit down for this." 3 weeks before Father's Day, Brian had taken out a massive loan against the house, using the forged deed and a wildly inflated appraisal from a friend of his. That loan was set to close in 11 days. And 6 weeks before that, he'd quietly swapped my modest 20-year homeowner's policy for a brand new one, sky-high fire and water damage coverage, far more than the house was even worth. I sat there, my hands shaking, doing the math my heart didn't want to do. My own son wasn't just trying to steal my house out from under me on Father's Day. He was setting it up to burn. I didn't want to believe it. I wanted, desperately, for there to be some other explanation. But every date lined up. Every push to get me out lined up with that loan closing. We brought in a detective, Renee Castillo, who didn't waste time being gentle about it either. "Mr. Marsh, this exact pattern, forged deed, inflated loan, brand new high-value fire policy, and pressure to get you out of the house fast. We've seen it before. It doesn't usually end well for the house." For 10 agonizing days, I stayed with Diane, telling Brian I was thinking it over. Every night felt like waiting for a phone call I was terrified to get. Then, 6 days before that loan was set to close, a wiretap on a number Jenna had let slip caught Brian talking to his appraiser friend. "Once the loan clears, we sell fast. No repairs, no staging. Get it off our hands before anyone starts asking about that deed." "And the insurance?" the friend asked. "Standard," Brian said. "He'll never check the numbers." That was it. That was the whole plan laid bare in his own voice. My son, casually deciding my home, my 31 years, was just something to cash out on before anyone noticed. Detective Castillo moved fast. 2 days later, Brian and Jenna were arrested. Forgery, attempted fraud, elder financial exploitation. Jenna had helped draft the paperwork herself, and she was charged right alongside him. I sat in the courthouse hallway that day, replaying that Father's Day morning over and over, his voice so calm, so certain, telling me to pack my bags like I was nothing more than an obstacle in his way. It's been 9 months now. Brian pled guilty. 3 years, the deed and loan voided completely. Jenna got 18 months. The insurance policy was canceled the second the fraud was confirmed. I still live in my house. Some mornings, especially in June, the quiet still stings. But most days now, it just feels like mine again, which, after everything, is more than I ever thought I'd get to say. Diane and Sam still check on me. I've learned the hardest way possible that love and trust don't come with honesty built in, and that sometimes the people closest to you can be planning your ending long before you ever see it coming. If this story got to you, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one.